It's easy to forget that the Amazon Prime series, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, one of the most expensive TV shows ever made, is still a thing. I thought I was having one of those Mandela effect moments recently where I lived in an alternate reality where the show had been cancelled. But no, it's still being made. There is going to be a third season, despite how a lot of Tolkien fans aren't thrilled with the show, to say the least. But I wanted to take a look at a couple of other Middle-earth related projects that are in the pipeline. There's actually 2 Lord of the Rings movies being made right now. So I'm going to look at this comicbookmovie.com article. It's linked below if you want to read the whole article. The Lord of the Rings Shadows of the Past movie in development, set 14 years after Return of the King. So I think this is going to be told partially in flashback. So it takes place 14 years after the Return of the King, but they would be also remembering back to some events during the first 3 Lord of the Rings movies. Some event that we didn't see. In news, it's fair to say that no one saw coming. Warner Brothers has announced via sffgazette.com that the Late Show host Stephen Colbert and his son, screenwriter Peter McGee, are writing The Lord of the Rings Shadows of the Past. Yeah, I certainly didn't see that coming. Stephen Colbert, a talk show host comedian, wouldn't have been an obvious choice for one of the writers of a Lord of the Rings film. Really hoping we won't be getting quippy, witty modern dialogue and jokes in there. Yeah. So it also says, over the last 2 years, Colbert and McGee have worked with the Lord of the Rings screenwriter Philippa Boyens to develop a script. McGee's credits include work on Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, Outer Banks, and The Righteous Gemstones. Now, before I go very much further with this video, I just wanted to say that I'm actually going to be splitting my content now across both of my channels. I'm doing more videos over on my other channel, Computing Forever, including film and TV reviews and commentary like this. So I've done a few videos over there this month already. It's linked below, so please head on over to Computing Forever and subscribe. I recently talked about Star Trek Year 1, the cancelled Buffy reboot, and the very predictable cancellation of Star Trek Starfleet Academy, and also I did a review of Project Hail Mary. So if you want to check out those videos, please head on over to Computing Forever and subscribe there. I'm going to be doing pop culture videos on both channels from now on. So back to the article. The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit director Peter Jackson opened the video by sharing an update on The Lord of the Rings The Hunt for Gollum, revealing Andy is doing a terrific job. It's looking amazing, the script is coming together really well, and I think it's going to be a really good film. So also, The Hunt for Gollum is another Lord of the Rings movie that's in the works. A prequel film about the character of Aragorn searching for Gollum. Andy Serkis will return to play Gollum, and he's also directing it, but Aragorn won't be played by Viggo Mortensen. He'll be recast. But as for the other film, The Lord of the Rings Shadows of the Past, the article continues. The filmmaker went on to say that he has a very special partner working on the next Middle-earth set movie, revealing that Colbert, a J.R.R. Tolkien superfan, is developing a sequel that is rooted in chapters from The Fellowship of the Ring that didn't make it into the 2001 film. So presumably this movie is going to focus on some event during The Fellowship of the Ring that we didn't see in the original movie. The thing I found myself reading over and over were the 6 chapters early on in The Fellowship of the Ring that Joel never developed into the first movie back in the day, Colbert shared. It's basically the Chapter 3 is company, Chapter 3, through Fog on the Barrow Downs, which is Chapter 8. And I thought, oh wait, maybe that could be its own story that could fit into the larger story. Could we make something that was completely faithful to the books while also being completely faithful to the movies that you guys had already made? So it sounds like it's a retcon event placed at some point into the Fellowship of the Ring. What does that mean? Well, the logline confirms that The Lord of the Rings Shadows of the Past is set 14 years after the passing of Frodo, as Sam, Merry and Pippin set out to retrace the first steps of their adventure. Meanwhile, Sam's daughter, Eleanor, has discovered a long-buried secret and is determined to uncover why the War of the Ring was very nearly lost before it even began. I presume the actors are going to be de-aged for flashback scenes, unless they're going to be recasting the characters with younger actors for those scenes. I don't know. I personally don't like this kind of idea for this movie. The Lord of the Rings don't need to be touched again. They are perfect cinema. And revisiting them in this way with a movie that's going to take place during the events of that original trilogy kind of feels like, well, it kind of feels redundant because we know how those films end. And it also kind of feels like, just cashing in on their glory, on their past success, and just, milking the IP. There is something very culturally significant about Tolkien's work from a literary perspective, so much so that The Lord of the Rings shouldn't be treated as any other movie franchise. But that's what it's become in recent years. And doing this, it kind of feels like turning Lord of the Rings into something that's more like Star Wars, trying to squeeze out another installment based on the original trilogy. And that's the same for The Hunt for Gollum, a prequel to The Lord of the Rings, I'm not sure what this is going to add to the film series, but hey, nostalgia is very popular in pop culture right now. So those are my thoughts on this one, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Dave Cullen Show channel. And of course, remember to subscribe to my other channel, Computing Forever. Hit that notification bell to be notified of future updates. Share the video out there. Hit that like button. Take care. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.